Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Kat about Raid Shadow Legends. Today, we are talking about the ins and outs for my new account. So that means I'm going to be planning on starting a new account within the next week or so. I'm also going to be starting a clan with that account, so keep an eye out for when I start talking about that. It'll probably be either in a video or in a live stream, but you'll be welcome to join my clan. It's going to be uber casual, except for clan versus clan. You guys know I'm hyped about that. But what I'm going to be talking about today is what I'm going to be doing differently with a new account and what I'll be doing better. So before we get into that, click the link in the description, scan the QR code on the screen. If you are not familiar with Raid Shadow Legends, it is a really, really fun hero collector style game. You can get some of the best epics in the game by following the link in the description or scanning the QR code. And something that I would recommend I would do better, well, not that I would do better with my new account, but something that I'm definitely going to do again with my new account is follow the link in the description, scan the QR code. I think I'm going to be scanning my own beautiful QR code right here. But I'm definitely going to use the promo code Monkey King in the first 24 hours in order to get Sun Wukong. I'm going to also be logging in every single day so I can get Alice the Wanderer in my new account. So the cool thing about that is if you've never started an account, or if you're looking to start a new account over, you've played for a long time, right now is a great time to do so because you can get 4 free champions. All of them are really good right away. It's a great thing. So let's get into it today. So we're going to start with the outs, aka the things that I'm going to be doing differently. One of the biggest mistakes that I made when I started my current account that I'm working with, that's Squid P here at the top. Oh, it's me because Grinner is my featured champion. I don't care about anything else. I just love Grinner. Something that I wish I had done differently was not use fusion champions for food. I was really excited to rank up champions. I wanted to rank up Sun Wukong as quickly as possible. I wanted to upgrade Rector Drath and Loki, and I had all these champions that I wanted to get to 6-star as soon as possible. However, I was a dummy and I used champions that were going to be used for fusion later on. So it slowed me down when it came to my missions. So for example, Relic Keeper, I had Justisar. I had pulled him from a shard and I got rid of him. That wouldn't have made that big of a difference because I would have had to fuse him anyways for a previous mission. So keep in mind, if you get War Maiden, Diabolist, Spirit Host, and Eris, keep them. Don't use them as food. I had a hard time, especially with War Maiden. I know it wants me to use her. It's not going to show me, but War Maiden was one that I had a hard time trying to find again. You're going to have to fuse Justisar at some point in your missions, so hang on to your champions for that. And you're going to have to use Justisar along with these 3 other champions, Sorceress, Templar, and Executioner, to fuse Relic Keeper. So be aware of that. Those are going to be a thing. You need to save those champions. I also learned this as I was trying to, so you can see here that I can get Executioner from the Hallowed Halls on normal, or I tend to do it on brutal. I was only fighting in stage 7 because sometimes there's a daily activity, a daily quest to defeat the campaign boss 3 times. So I was doing that all the time. I was spending hundreds of energy and I did not get a single Executioner at all. That was super weird. And then, recommendation from my husband, MobileGamer365, was that I just do stage 3 because you're going to get more silver from that anyway. The shields are worth more than any other artifact piece that you can win, so just do stage 3. I'm not kidding. I did 5 battles and I got him immediately. So I don't believe that you can get the rare drops from the campaign bosses. So that's something to keep in mind. If you are trying to fuse those champions and you're trying to farm those rares that you need, I don't think you can get them from the campaign boss. And that was something I wish I had known because otherwise I wouldn't have spent so much goddamn energy. So that was super annoying. The second thing that will be out that I will do differently for my next account is ignoring faction wars and guardians. So the way I upgraded my account in the beginning, and this is kind of comes from the hero collectors that I played in the past, there was a lot of bottlenecking on resources, so I had a hard time justifying upgrading any champions. But the nice thing about Raid Shadow Legends is it's really easy to upgrade the champions. You kind of have to be stingy with artifacts, but I was getting rid of a lot of champions that were in the same faction and like refusing to upgrade them because I still kind of felt like, I felt like I had to save the upgrading for the champions that I needed for, ranking up or food or whatever else. I'm not far along in faction wars, and I could be a lot better. So I wish I was focusing on that earlier on, because a major part of that is you get better artifacts because you're getting pieces for the forge. And I'm going to do a video on like which artifact sets are the best for beginners, but if I had been paying more attention to the forge, I would have a lot better artifacts than I do right now. So faction wars and faction guardians are not something to sleep on. I've been better about my faction guardians recently. I have a faction guardian in almost every single section. Not skinwalkers, which is my favorite. I'm a little disappointed. My barbarians are really healthy, my rare barbarians. So my Soulbond Boyar she is really strong, relatively, because of all of the boosts that she's getting from faction guardians. She has boost in accuracy and resistance, and attack, and HP. So when you get duplicate champions, instead of using them as food or using them to level up skills, my recommendation is to put them into faction guardians because, so for example, my dark elves. I have several epic dark elves, but since I have a duplicate of Madame Ceres, that means all of my epic dark elves are getting a 10% HP boost. So not only is that affecting Madame Ceres, but it's boosting Spider and Sylar and Luria and Madame Ceres. So 4 different champions are getting an HP boost because I have her duplicate put into the faction guardians. So it's something to pay attention to, and I'll touch on it a little bit later, but it requires you expanding your champion roster, which is something I think that's worth investing in. Number 3, something I will do differently with a new account, one of my outs, is playing conservative with my resources. I tend to hoard. I tend to hoard my force brews. I tend to hoard my gems and my silver. I've gotten a lot better about that in the recent weeks. I've focused more on it, and I'm realizing, if you spend all of these things and upgrade your champions, it's going to get better over time. The only thing I'm not really stingy on is my chickens. I tend to use my chickens. You can see I go through them really quickly. And we're in clan versus clan right now, so I'm about to get a lot of level 3, rank 3 chickens. So I'm very excited about that. But I always felt like I needed to hoard resources, and I do somewhat for clan versus clan. Like, for example, I've saved up a bunch of books. You can see here at the top, intentionally holding them onto them because I knew clan versus clan was coming. But overall, I would hang on to those books and hang on to those things because I kind of felt like, well, if I get a better champion, I'm going to want to use it all then. But it's good to just upgrade the champions that you currently have. It'll move you further along in campaigns and arena, and it'll be okay. You will get the resources that you need for better champions when you get them. There's no need to hoard. It's fine. And last thing that I would do differently is pay closer attention to the kind of gear that I'm upgrading. So I upgraded some garbage gear early on because I didn't know that there were how to discern what was good gear, what wasn't good gear. And so I spent some resources, as much as I was trying to be conservative with my resources, I would spend a lot on garbage gear because I didn't know what good gear was. So I'm going to have a video pop up here where I talk about what gear I sell and what I don't sell, and basically what I upgrade and what I don't upgrade. I think it's normal to want to upgrade and spend your resources and all those things, but before you do that, just learn a little bit about what is good, what isn't in the game, and be very intentional with it. So that's all I have to say about that. For a minute, scan the QR code and link in the description if you're like, I could do these things. I think I could play this really well. At level 15, you're going to get Yugo, but right off the bat, you're going to get Rector Drath and a lot of energy refills, some good resources, a book that you'll definitely need. And both of the champions that I have that are offered through my link and QR code are epic, and both of them are very much worth putting the book into. So you're going to have yourself as a really good start compared to somebody who just downloads the game without using a link or QR code. All right, so now we're going to talk about my ins for my next account, aka the things I'm going to be doing better. So I touched on it a lot with my outs, but something that I will not be shy about next time is expanding my champion collection. This is something worth doing a lot, because once you start having a lot of champions that are in faction guardians or using them in faction wars, you're going to develop a big roster. So right now, my roster, oh, hi Loki. My roster's a little bit relatively small because I've been doing a lot of upgrading. I'm very close to being able to upgrade a 5-star to a 6-star. So my roster is a little bit lean compared to what it normally is, but I still have 73 champions in my account. I do keep some champions in the vault. Mostly, these are all champions, ones that I may not use. I might use them in faction wars. I haven't gotten there yet, or they're duplicates, and I don't want to get rid of them because I want the benefits from my faction guardians. So I do put some in the vault, but if you're going to be using them in faction wars, they can't be in the vault. So it's better to keep a lot of them just out on your normal roster. A way that I mark ones that I don't want to use as food are Ascension. So Aox is a great champion that I haven't put a lot of resources into yet. Probably going to today. Since it's clan versus clan, I'm going to send him and do some good stuff with him today. But I give him at least a 1-star Ascension, so that's my kind of code for we're not getting rid of him. Like, we'd prefer to keep. Sylar, I know, is one of the best is a very good epic, and one that I'm sleeping on at the moment, but I know that she's good, so I've fully ascended her as much as I can because she's going to be good. So something else I'm going to be doing differently with my next account is paying closer attention to affinities. I always forget that affinities are a thing. So it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors situation. Magic has an advantage over green. It's stronger. So our blues are better against green. Our green is better against red, and red is better against blue. And then force is just good in general. It doesn't have any weaknesses, but it doesn't really have any strengths. So this is something I've barely paid attention to, and it's something that I do want to pay better attention to in the future, especially when it comes to Arena or Chimera or Iron Twins. These are all situations. So see, so it's our red force affinity right now. So I'm probably not going to be bringing in a lot of my magic champions, but I'm definitely going to bring in my spirit champions because I know that they're going to be stronger versus I'll lean towards my spirit, my green, and my force and my red. So I know that they're not going to be super weak, and my spirit for sure is going to be stronger against the Iron Twins. Number 3, my third in what I want to do better is be closer about my Great Hall. I've touched on this in a couple other videos, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I made the mistake of spreading out these affinity bonuses a lot, and now I'm at a mission where I need to upgrade this to level 7. In order to do that, I need, I have my 74 silver, and I need another 80 gold medals in order to get to level 6, and then I have to get to level 7. So this is going to be rough. If I had saved a lot of those materials from here and just stacked it in critical damage and accuracy, I would be a little further along. So I've already touched on that in my video about arenas, but it's still something I'm reinforcing, that when you are working on your Great Hall, 1, save the upgrade for clan versus clan if you can, and 2, stack tall, not wide. Only focus on critical damage and accuracy in the beginning. The last thing I'm going to do better with my account is focusing a lot harder on my campaigns and my missions versus events. So in the beginning, I got really into the events. I liked that I was getting prizes for doing things, and I'm just that kind of person. But me not focusing so hard on the campaigns or my missions means that I'm not as far along as I could be. I could be doing better on the events. Events are always going to be there. It's not something you have to focus on super hard. The only event I would say that's worth spending time on is the event dungeon. And the reason for that, right now we have the Queen of Hearts event dungeon. And the reason for that is, 1, you're going to get really good gear. that you need early on. And 2, this is also a great place to farm silver, which you also need a lot of early on. So with the exception of the event dungeon, I would say focus all of your energy into progressing through the campaigns and the missions. And speaking of the event dungeon right now, I want to remind you again that right now is a great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends if you haven't already. We have the event dungeon running. We have the Alice login event. There's a lot of great things that are happening. But if you want to start a new account, click the link in the description, scan the QR code, get Rector Drath as your starting epic champion, and then follow it up with Yugo when you hit level 15. Also, in the first 24 hours, use the promo code Monkey King and get Sun Wukong, because he's going to help you progress through the missions and the campaigns. And he's just good in general. He's really, really, really good champion. So, highly recommend that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subscribers right now. It's a huge help. It boosts my confidence a bit. And also comment down below, what are things that you want to do differently with a new account? What advice do you have for people just starting? And yeah, thank you guys for being here one more time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.